This is show 1072. Now we're going to cover the third week in June 2017. Big thing is a new moon coming up on the 24th at 3 degrees of Cancer. Now, that'll take you out of that Gemini new moon you had, which covered the month of June. Gemini, an air sign, so a lot of your concerns were about wind and air and things. Now we start a new moon in Cancer, a water sign. So heads up. July is going to have a lot of water and flood issues and things with us. Other news. Venus and Mars are in sextile. Oh boy. A reminder, Mars used to be this symbol, the cross of matter over the circle of spirit, which tells you something about Mars. People like Trump, they put money first over spirit and people and law and ethics and love and all that sort of thing. So, you know, if you talk to the president who has Mars rising in Leo, he's all about money, yeah, not about people, not about love or the law or religion or those things. So you have to give the Martians sometimes a little break. They have their place in the world. Yes, somebody's got to keep the roof fixed and the fields plowed and the orchards protected. So Venus is going to give them a smile. Mars is going to get some reward. The Venus 60 degrees sextile to Mars is going to go on for a while. It's very nice. Most of all, Neptune, stationary and going, it's going to stop and go backwards. It stops Friday morning at 1:11 a.m. Yeah, if you're on the Thursday show, if you're watching this on June 15th, that's tomorrow morning at 1 o'clock. You're likely to be dreaming in Technicolor Friday morning. Neptune stops, the symptoms of Pisces. It can be very dreamy. I notice my sense of smell goes way up. Closer I get to Neptune station, you know, and it's one of those normal distribution curves again. You know, get up here on the 16th and it goes down. Well, that's your sense of smell. You know, 10 days before at least you start smelling things. And you peak of this thing tomorrow, Friday for you. Oh boy, you'll smell anything in the air. Also, sensitivity, compassion. You could tear up in a movie real easy when Neptune stops. It's Pisces. It's all the Christianity type religions. Enlightenment through the heart. That's what Neptune does best. There he is. Has to do with all kinds of liquids. Has to do, but you know, basically, he's also booze, alcohol. Come fill the cup, and in the gay fires of spring, the winter garments of repentance fling. Omar Khayyam. Neptune, He's called Tezcatlipoca to the Mesoamericans, the astrologers, the best astrologers of the last few thousand years. I'm going to get to that more. But, no, you know, amethyst is the jewel if you're born in Pisces. And it says if you have a cup of made of amethyst, like those geodes and all the purple little quartz crystals inside, use it as a cup. You can drink wine and never get a hangover. The promise of Neptune. Do you believe that? Well, you know, the Mayans called him smoking mirror. Smoke and mirrors, huh? So you got to watch what goes on. When Neptune stops, it gets very dreamy and very inspired. It gets all foggy, and then it clears. Oh, I can see clear. Inspiration, that's Neptune's calling card. But you look out. There's two little fish with their tails tied together here in the glyph of Pisces. And one of them is the enlightenment from Jesus and the clarity and inspiration. The other is foggy and confused, and he walked out of the store with that thing in his pocket, got charged shoplifting, my God. So there's two sides to this guy. Don't believe everything you see and are told and that you smell. But you know, the interesting thing, when you smell something, you only smell it for a little bit, a minute or two, and then your mind siphons out that electrical signal and gets ready for a new one. So the sense of smell is very temporary. If you smell a bad smell, you know, you want to go track it down right away while you smell it, because pretty soon you won't smell it anymore. Once I inspected a little room at a hospital, St. Francis. There were all these little super PhDs over microscopes looking at tissue samples and slicing things. And I went in the morning, and there's 4 or 5 of them in there working. It was great. I went in at noontime. Whoa, knocked me over. They all had little tubs of different solvents. They were dunking these tissue samples in little open tubs, and the air was so full of Neptune. You stayed in there very long, you'd get stoned just from smelling it. By the way, can you get an alcohol stone from smelling brandy in a stiff snifter? Some guys tried it. No, you can't breathe in enough alcohol fumes to do it. And once when I was in safety, the question was, if guys go in a tank of alcohol, there's an inch of alcohol on the bottom, and they go in there, will they get alcohol stoned from breathing that alcohol in the air? And it turned out, no, they don't. They don't. So there's a certain amount of confusion and delusion around Neptune. Let's check it out. Here's the pattern of planets. We've got Saturn, and the Sun opposed Saturn, huh? Don't like those politicians, do you? And Jupiter and Neptune on a seesaw. Jupiter just had his way last week. Neptune gets his way now, especially after that new moon on the 24th. We're going to run the moon around this pattern, and look, here's Mars with a nice blue line over to Venus. Romantic, young couples everywhere. As the moon goes around once a month, it makes angles to these various actors on the stage, these planetary bodies, including Neptune, Tezcatlipoca. And it reflects the mood of the time. It goes through your mind. The people outside you act it out. The characters inside your head act it out. And we all are actors on the stage. So here you are on Thursday night, and the moon's in Pisces, and you've been feeling, oh, look at that, here's the romantic part. This is Thursday afternoon. There's Mars and Venus in sextile. Nice, huh? Did you notice it? If you're on the Thursday show, you should have noticed you felt kind of romantic and sexy all day. Now, as you get towards the evening, you're into the Neptune zone real strong. And this is actually 1 a.m. in the morning, you know, the Neptune stops. And son of a gun, the moon's going by Neptune at the very time it stops in its strongest. I hope the Pope always speaks out. He's a good representative of a real Neptune like Jesus, and he speaks out when Neptune stops. He just had a meeting with our president, hopefully convinced him about global warming. We shall see. But you're going to see, you know, Thursday night, Friday morning, the moon going by there, everybody has Neptune in their eye. You will turn into Jesus and the Pope and the artist and the musician, sometimes the alcoholic. So how much difference between a priest and a drunk? I don't know. All drunks are priests in a way, and all priests are drunks. That's just Neptune. Smoke and mirrors, they called him, the Mesoamericans. So, you know, have fun. Don't drive. If you do alcohol, don't drive. You know, I wouldn't do alcohol. Alcohol is one of the worst of the drugs. There's all kinds of things you can do to bring out your higher heart. And alcohol, you know, just gives you a little hit and then you go into confusion. So, moon on Neptune. Oh boy, pretty neat. Pretty neat. Thursday night, Friday morning. Continues all the way through Friday, but here you've got a square to Mercury, and people are confused and they're not communicating. And here's the square to Saturn. So the middle of Friday can't communicate. Then Friday night, the square to Saturn, lots of judgment, and everybody's getting closed down, and they stop the party. And is there really religion in the world? Yes, my friends, spirit is real. It's just misused by a lot of people. And some of those guys you'll see late Friday night. Here, midnight, 1 a.m. in the morning, the moon squares the sun. You may have been very enlightened Thursday night and through Friday, and then started getting serious Friday night, and downright a little angry Friday night, Saturday morning, when you see what's happened to our world. You know, there's a lot of idealism in Neptune. We'd strive for perfection, but none of us reach it on this earthly plane. Look out, I'm preaching. Saturday morning you wake up, the moon's in Aries. It's a different situation altogether. Feel more Martian. Where's the money? Where's the sweets? Where's the sex? Where's the physical goodies? Gets worse as you go through Saturday. And here, midnight, 1 a.m. in the morning, the moon squares Mars. And nobody's happy with all the machismo and the testosterone. And you got angry? Well, it's going to keep you up Saturday night. Hope you didn't drink and then get angry. Fire water, putting fuel on the fire, huh? What was it, advice from Chief Seattle? You got two wolves in you. One of them's a good guy, a good Mars. That wolf protects everybody. He's everybody's friend and protector, takes care of things. The other one is a mean one that bites. He says, which wolf are you feeding inside yourself? Good question for Saturday night, Sunday morning. Sunday here after breakfast, before lunch, we have square to Jupiter. Oh, opposition to Jupiter, excuse me. Rich guys, lawyers, professors, all those pampered, papered professionals, that's Jupiter. And you're not liking him too much either, just like Saturn. Saturn and Jupiter are a pair. Lawyers and judges, politicians, and those that provoke and try to pay him off. Jupiter and Saturn are always dancing together. This is not a good time for either one of them, as you'll be reminded Sunday morning when you watch the news. Continues all the way through Sunday, and Monday in the middle of the day the moon shifts into Taurus. Whole different ball game. And look at all the blue planets. Nice. Nice. Late Sunday, actually early Monday morning, here's a trine to Saturn. We can get along with some rules and regulations. We are a country of laws. You know, Saturn lays down limits, turns them into cement. I don't like that too much myself. But here's the moon going by Uranus. And now we have the enlightenment of the mind. Here's Quetzalcoatl. Yeah, not Tezcatlipoca is Neptune. Uranus is Quetzalcoatl. And here's humanity. Here's common sense. In la catch, I am another you. Here's the zap of the Aquarian age. It's happening Monday morning. There's a sextile to the sun. The sun is supporting it. This is a good time to look into astrology a little more. It's true, you know, and it works. It's hard to get along in the age of Pisces with astrology. 2,000 years now. They still won't say the word. You look at ancient aliens on TV, it's a mathematics and astronomy. Come on, guys. They were doing it because as above, so below. Astrology works. It's a gentle reminder Monday that it's true. And you can use it very easily now. Yeah, you don't got to leave it to scientists and specialists. Get the app. Get your ephemeris. Watch the Sky Mirror again on my website, skymirrorastrology.com/TV. You can watch this again and again and again. Check up on me. Here comes Sexy Tuesday. The moon's in Taurus. Here's the sextile to Mars and the conjunction to Venus. Tuesday all day. Wow. Romantic, sexy. There's a sextile to Neptune. Oh, what happened here? As we go on towards the end of the week, Mars and Venus are both in trine and sextile to Neptune. the dreamy one. The movies, here's movie star romance. You know, the girls are going to have stars in their eyes. Wow, it's Tuesday. Enjoy. But, you know, keep those young girls safe. Yeah. I can't get over the 72 virgin thing that they talked about with Al-Qaeda or the Muslims or something. That's, of course, in America we have the porn channels. Oh, my God, Venus is having a tough time in our world, isn't she? The sweet sister. Well, that's about Tuesday. Continues through Wednesday. In the middle of the day, here's a sextile to Chiron. And if we want to help people around lunchtime. And then after lunch, the moon shifts into Gemini. The whole thing changes again. As you get to Thursday, here's a trine to Jupiter. Oh, the lawyers, professors, and wise men are right. And a square to Neptune. Here's bad smells. For a day, the seesaw goes over to Jupiter on Thursday the 22nd. And we're not liking what Neptune did. Burn more coal? Bah. Thursday night, you're going into the Mercury zone, but Saturn is here. Early Friday morning, it's going to go slow, and things are clogged up. And it clears up by the time you get to the middle of the day when the moon sextiles Uranus. But Friday morning is Saturn. Slow, take it easy, leave early. There's a new moon Friday. Happens Friday night. And about here. New moon in Cancer. Check your property, see where the water goes. That's a job for Saturday because the moon and Saturday and moon's in Cancer goes by Mars in the middle of the day. And that's when you want to get your hero Mars out there and look around to see what's going to be damaged in the downpour. We're going to have some heavy flood possibilities. Neptune likes doing that. Yeah. And so Saturday's a day to do preventive maintenance. Get out there in your yard. Dig a little trench to keep it from flooding your basin or something. By the time you get to Saturday night, here's a moon opposing Pluto, and it gets extreme. Time to stop. But there's Venus. She's there about midnight. She's still going to reward a good old Mars. So Saturday night could be kind of sexy if you can keep the extremist behavior down. Sunday, the moon's still in Cancer until the afternoon. And as it goes by the trine to Chiron, we want to help people Sunday. Good time for church kind of stuff, for Neptune stuff. The moon's squaring Uranus, though, so not interested in science. No, boo to science. Science is Uranus. It gets aberrated in our world, just like Neptune, which is religion, art, music. It gets aberrated. People misuse these powers. They do. But then, that's our modern world, huh? Hey, I got something to share with you. I've just had an epiphany about the ancient Mesoamerican religion, and Tezcatlipoca and Quetzalcoatl. Come on, I want to share it with you. Lots of times it's the little things that really give you discovery. I came by this wonderful book, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago on the internet, and I was looking for the other codex, but this came up, and it's a full color restoration. And I think I got it for $12 or something, this amazing book. And I just thought, oh, well, look at all these neat pictures, and I'm going to go to Mexico and study more of this stuff. So, you know, I'm just going to look through the pictures and kind of get used to them a little bit. Because can I get used to them? I've been trying to get used to them for 10 years. Haven't made much progress. But something happened the other day, and I began to see these things a little more clearly. Now, one of the things that happened is that when I got into this business of studying the Mesoamerican stuff, I learned about Huracan. Huracan was an Aztec. They call them gods. You know, people in our modern world really screw us up because we figure these are all a bunch of savages worshiping gods. No, anyway, these are planets, and Hurricane was a one-legged spinning god, okay? And that's where our word hurricane comes from. I should be giving you a lot more on hurricanes now because we're going to have hurricanes in Hawaii. I did some of that work a month or two ago, and, you know, you're in the zone now. But I want to talk about Huracan. So, upshot is, I know that Mesoamericans, and at least some of these Aztecs knew there was this force called Huracan, and it made hurricanes, and that's where our word comes from. So then I thought, how could those guys know? You can't see the planet Uranus. No, it's too far away. You can't see Uranus. So, you know, I went through a lot of spaces over this because Uranus, the planet, has rings on it. Now, funny thing, Uranus is a rebel. He doesn't just go around the sun like an ice skater twirling along happily. No, he turns on his side. He points the North Pole in towards the sun and rolls along on his side. Now, he has rings, but because his North Pole is pointed in there, the rings are to where we are here. The rings are edge on. And I thought, now, you know, maybe if the rings turned differently and made the planet look bigger, maybe the Mesoamerican astrologers could see Uranus because it would look larger. It's a beautiful green color. Once you see Uranus green, oh, it's delightful, especially the psychedelic green. So I started researching that. I couldn't find any place where anybody knew anything about the planet Uranus and its tilt towards us. And I investigated stuff like psychedelic mushrooms improve your visual acuity. And the Mayans are well known for their mushroom stuff. And maybe their eyes were so sharp and the skies were so dark, you know, they could see Uranus. Maybe the Hawaiians could too. Hawaiians had these 40, 50-foot towers have been lost to our history. They think now the little short waffering platforms. No, Mr. Warther on Kauai was right, and I knew that. I saw pictures. They're looking up this thing into the dark sky to study the top. So could Hawaiians see Uranus? Well, you could go to the top of a mountain where, you know, there's not so much atmosphere and do some mushrooms and be lucky that Uranus rings are tilted to reflect light. And maybe you could see Uranus. And maybe was my final, I didn't have a solid judgment on this, but I investigated the word Huracan and the reference to it among Mesoamericans. Now, here we have another character called Neptune in Western astrology. And Neptune is Pisces. And Neptune, I just found out Neptune is Tezcatlipoca. And there's no question, but they could not see Neptune. It doesn't matter how high a mountain or how good your eyesight is. You can't see Neptune. And yet these guys knew about it. And it's clear that they knew about it. And my first inkling to this epiphany came up let me show you. What's come up with Graham Hancock is that Quetzalcoatl was a tall white guy with a beard, and one of the guys that came out of the wreck of Atlantis in Lemuria. And there were other guys too, Viracocha and, you know, maybe Jesus and other people. They were enlightened beings, came out of that civilization that was wrecked and tried to restart it again. So Quetzalcoatl is a big deal all over Mesoamerica. Now here's Tezcatlipoca, the dark smoking mirror. Yeah, smoke and mirrors, that's Neptune, isn't it? So they knew Neptune. And Quetzalcoatl is Uranus. He brought science. He showed up suddenly in these cultures. And he brought common sense and science and architecture and astrology and mathematics. That's what Quetzalcoatl did. Tezcatlipoca, well, he has a lot of sides to him. He's an enlightenment god. But the two of them don't get along. In fact, Quetzalcoatl was finally, Tezcatlipoca got on him because he convinced him to drink a lot of pulque, a liquor, and he got Quetzalcoatl all drunk. He woke up in the morning, he's sleeping with his sister, and he was so shamed he left. Tezcatlipoca uses booze to bring people down. Let me show you some interesting images. Easy to get confused. This is Quetzalcoatl, but they come in lots of different shapes and sizes and colors. You know, blue and red and white and black, and just like we have Uranus in different signs. Here is Tezcatlipoca. He always has like a Lone Ranger thing on his face. And he also comes in different colors and shapes and sizes. So it's easy for these so-called historians to really get confused in trying to read these things. Tezcatlipoca. I'm getting used to him. I can kind of recognize him now. See? But he's always got little different things all around him. Here he is again. Same guy. See? Here's a red Tezcatlipoca. Here's a black one. Here's the jaguar. Here's Tezcatlipoca with the 20-day signs in Mayan astrology on his costume and wrapped around him. Ooh. You can ponder these pictures for hours. Quetzalcoatl. He's our guy. He's the age of Aquarius. The battle between Neptune and Uranus goes on, folks. It's happening all around you. Just Google these two guys. An example of Neptune confusing us at Uranus. These are our astrologers.